Thank you. It is now 5:31, and I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the Planning Commission, Tuesday, August 6th, 2024. The land we know as Sequim was once inhabited solely by First Peoples known as the S'Klallam people, represented by the three tribal governments, Lower Elwha S'Klallam, Jamestown S'Klallam, and Port Gamble S'Klallam. We serve as stewards of the land within the city of Sequim. With the same care and consideration the S'Klallam tribes has and continues to provide, this acknowledgement is a respect to the S'Klallam people and their history. The Planning Commission serves as an advisory body to the City Council. The purpose of the Planning Commission is to provide guidance and direction for Sequim's future growth through continued review and improvement to Sequim's comprehensive plan, zoning code, shoreline management, environmental protection, and related land use documents. The Planning Commission will have all powers and perform each and all of the duties specified under Chapter 35A.63 RCW as amended and set forth or amended by ordinance. Roll call. Emily, will you please take roll call of the commission tonight with special note that Commissioner Cummings is not here on an excused absence?
Absolutely. Commissioner Carter.
Present.
Commissioner Kuntz.
Present.
Commissioner Fain.
Present.
Commissioner Hewitt. Commissioner Lefevre.
Present.
Commissioner Mahalik.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of minutes. This is for our January 16th, 2024 minutes. I'm sorry, July 16th, 2024. I don't know what's going on there. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes, and is there any discussion or corrections? If not, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I move that the minutes from the July 16th meeting be approved as written.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, minutes stand approved. Thank you. Okay, public hearing section. General public comment will be heard at this time. Each person is limited to 3 minutes. For those wishing to speak on the public hearing topics, please hold those comments until that portion of the meeting. So we have 2 public hearings tonight. One is on mobile home parks. That'll be the first one. The second one that we have will be for 2 access points. But at this point, right now, this is if anybody would like to provide public comment for something other than those 2 items. So at this time, is there anybody that would like to provide public comment for anything other than those 2 items? Emily, is there anybody online that would like to provide public comment?
Looks like there are 2 people online, but I'm going to guess they're part of just the listening crew for the public hearings. And there's nobody on the sign-in sheet.
Okay, thank you. So then at this point, I will close general public comment. And we are going to move on to, since there's no general business, we're going to move on to new business. The first thing that we have is a public hearing for manufactured mobile home park zoning code amendment and citywide zoning map update. I do know that our DDC director has a presentation. Would you like to give that at this time?
Yes, I have
Thank
a
you.
brief presentation to go over the recommended amendments for the manufactured mobile home parks that has been discussed to date through the Planning Commission. And I'll give Emily a few moments to pull that document up, and I can go over this. There are a few components to tonight's public hearing and topics for consideration to take testimony on. This first one is the citywide rezone, which would establish an amendment to the city's zoning map, adding an overlay to 13, I believe it's a total of 13, manufactured mobile home parks within the city of Sequim. This map was finalized via recommendation of the Planning Commission after a city tour of the sites and driving in and through some of the sites and observing their establishment and their neighborhoods. The next portion of topic for consideration this evening and of the public hearing, as Emily's able to change her page, is going to be an amendment to the definitions section. We are pulling definitions out of 1862 and adding them to our definitions chapter. This would be considered kind of a housekeeping amendment, as we're already in the code sections. There were some amendments to definitions lining up with the current building code standards, as well as adding some clarifying language on some of those. I believe the next section of code is, okay, this would be Title 18, Chapter 18-16. This is the establishment of districts. So we are adding some zoning language, code language in here to add that zone overlays do apply to general use provisions. The next section of code is Chapter 1862. This is our existing code where we have removed the definitions and moved those to 1818, as you saw a few minutes ago. And we have retained the use as well as the use and the development standards in that section of code. The final section of code being provided tonight is a new code section. This would be Chapter 1863. This is the applicability for the manufacturing mobile home zoning overlay that aligns with the citywide zoning map update. That concludes the breadth of amendments with this package.
Okay, thank you. Now, tonight we are going to have the public hearing on this, and then we will have our discussion as Planning Commission and make our final recommendation at our next meeting, which will be on the 20th.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, correct. So due to the breadth of this zoning amendment, staff has spoken with the community and put out there about a month ago that we did establish that tonight will be a public hearing. August 20th will be when the Planning Commission really deeply dives in and digests the comments, the feedback that you hear tonight, and make your final verbal recommendation to the City Council in preparation for that.
Okay, thank you.
Just to clarify for the record, staff will be processing SEPA after the Planning Commission recommendation so that we know what the full breadth of the proposal is.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get going on this public hearing. Emily, I know you have something that you need to say.
All right. Soon, the chair of the Planning Commission will open a public hearing. When the chair asks if there are any members of the public who wish to speak, those who would like to speak should use the tool in Zoom to raise their hand, or if participating by telephone, should press *9. When you are notified that it is your turn to speak, unmute your audio by clicking the microphone icon or by dialing *6. Then state your name and your city or county of residence. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and I will let you know when it is time to stop speaking. Please avoid comments not related to the subject of the hearing. Participants will be disconnected after speaking.
Thank you. The subject of this public hearing is manufactured home park overlay. The public hearing is now open. And I know that our DCD director has already given testimony. So you're, at this point, you're good, right? Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the Planning Commission to staff? Okay. Do we have any of the any members of the public who would like to speak? And I know that Emily does have a list, so we'll start with the list.
Okay, first up on our list, Doug Wright.
And please note before Doug begins, if there's somebody that would like to speak that did not put their name on the list, please let Emily know in between speakers. We'll get you on the list so you can speak. Okay, Doug, take it away.
I'm just re-putting that map up for Doug real quick.
Okay, thank you.
We did have a gentleman that didn't see it very well, so. It's coming. Oh, Doug Wright, Henderson Community, Sequim. Get that out of the way. Bang up job, guys. That's the, yeah, you can zoom in a little bit if you want. There's an overlay on this that shows all the different manufactured home parks that they're working on, which is, other than telling you it's a bang up job you've done, I do have a question. The one park that I did not see is on Prairie between 3rd and 4th. It's not there, at least from what I could see. Can you zoom in on 3rd and 4th, maybe on Prairie? It's a little south of. In fact, I can't see any of them. Is that the right map?
Yeah.
Manufactured home park. There
It
it is.
is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm old. I got blurry eyes, but I did not see it on the map. And I just thinking, well, maybe it just got overlooked. But other than that, everything else looks good. You guys have been doing a great job. We appreciate it. Everybody here appreciates it. There may be some more questions. I don't know. She's getting there. I don't have to stand here really. It's just, that's the only question I had. If you look at Prairie Street between 3rd and 4th, Sunnyside, MHP, I did not see hashed like the rest of them. It's got, I believe, 16 manufactured homes in it. So, well, they should be included. All right. Anything else?
Thank you, Emily.
That's all I had. I mean, thanks, guys. You guys have done a great job. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Is that the one that the first one that we went to?
Yeah, we saw it.
Okay, okay. We'll make a point to put that in our discussion. Okay, all right. Do we have another name, Emily?
Next on the list, Stacy Nicholson.
Hi, everybody. I'm really short and sweet about this. I moved back to Sequim in January to care for my mother, but she passed away. And it was nice to be back to this community. So I took a good portion of my inheritance and I bought a home in Juniper Mobile Estates to be able, and fixed it up inside and out to be able to make a 44-year-old home live another 20 years. And this overlay is important to me because this is where I'm going to be living for the next 20 years. And my money stays pretty much right here in Sequim. And this overlay is so important. I'm a younger one in my park, but it affects so many people. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Before we move on to the next in-person, is there anybody online that would like to make a comment?
I have two people online. I'll start with Sharon Bonner. Did you want to speak?
Okay.
Okay. Next, Glinda. If you wanted to speak, you can unmute yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So then we will move on to our in-person comments.
Okay, perfect. Next is Randall Brooks. Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right. The last one is Earl Salday. Did I say that right? I hope.
That would be me.
Awesome.
I also live in Juniper Mobile Estates, and it's very heartening to see this council taking this kind of action. This is my final move, and this is was my hope that I could be in this area. And at the last minute, I found a home in Juniper Mobile Estates that I've put everything into. And if it wasn't for that, I'd be relegated to the Southwest along with a lot of other people I know. I appreciate the work you're doing. This is hugely important to all of us seniors living in these homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anybody else that would like to provide public discussion on this? Public comment?
That's all I had for my list, unless there's any last minute folks out there.
Okay. So then at this time, I'm going to close the public hearing. Thank you, everybody that provided public comment. I know that we are going to be doing our discussion, our final discussion next meeting. Yes.
I do have a response to the first public comment.
Sure.
I was able to pull up the original map that got put into the packet, and Sunnyside MHP is listed between 3rd and 4th on Cedar. It's just, since it's a small park, it's got lost in the chaos of the map.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that. Okay, so we will be discussing this at the next meeting, our final discussion, hopefully. Does anybody have anything that they would like to add as far as the commission? I'll be right with you. Is there anybody on the commission that has anything that they'd like to add to our final discussion that staff would need to prepare for? No? Okay. Looks like we have one more comment I'll allow.
Is that overlay and the information available to us online?
It is. Yep. It's available on our city website. And you can, if you go onto the city website and you look up like boards and commissions, and it will pull up, you can pull up the planning commission. And if you go on to any of our agenda items, I know there's other places that you can find it, but if you go onto our agenda items, it will have all the information in the agendas. It's actually pretty helpful. They do a good job. The staff does a good job of making sure that we have all the information consistently. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Looking forward to getting this resolved on the 20th for sure. So now we are going to move on to our second public hearing, which is 2 access points required. And I know that Emily has a little something that she'd like to say.
All right, soon the chair of the Planning Commission will open a public hearing. When the chair asks if there are any members of the public who wish to speak, those who would like to speak should use the tool in Zoom to raise their hand, or if participating by telephone should press *9. When you are notified that it is your turn to speak, unmute your audio by clicking the microphone icon or by dialing *6, then state your name and your city or county of residence. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and I will let you know when it is time to stop speaking. Please avoid comments that are not related to the subject of the hearing. Participants will be disconnected after speaking.
Thank you. The subject of this public hearing is 2 points of access. The public hearing is now open. Does the DCD director or staff have any testimony to present?
Yes, I have a very brief presentation,
Okay.
no visuals on this one. The code amendment is currently under an interim control ordinance that City Council has adopted. There was a conflict between two different sections of code as far as how many points of access were necessary in a preliminary plat. Due to fire needs and safety and security of future residents. The clarity in the code language tonight for public hearing is that lots more than any preliminary plat proposal that includes more than 30 lots must provide 2 points of access at a distance apart that is logical. And lots under 30 will have 1 point of access.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the Planning Commission to the staff? Yes.
We had talked about there was a survey and there were some changes that were coming with state law, how many units you could actually end up putting on a lot. So you could have 28 lots, but you could possibly end up with well over 30 units. Is that being incorporated into this recommendation tonight?
The recommendation tonight is specific to the lots, not the unit count. But you are correct that changes in state law do allow up to 4 plexes in areas that are zoned for single family.
And that doesn't really change what we wanted to do here. I thought there was a traffic survey. We got an analysis from somebody that said we would look at what the traffic patterns would be, and that might change the access points.
So depending on the project type, the applicant is required to provide a TIA, which is a traffic impact analysis at the time of application for a preliminary plat. And at that point in time, we would know what their product that they plan on building on the lots would be. And the TIA and the traffic management manual that is prepared and owned by Public Works would determine the nexus for improvements and or access needs.
Thank you. Okay, any more questions from the commission to staff?
I do.
Okay.
The way this reads, you said logical as a dimension. And that's not quite how it reads. But if you would give me a better interpretation of 1/2 of the length of the maximum overall diagonal dimension of the property. What is the property?
Okay, so I wish I had a whiteboard right now. So imagine you have a 1 square acre. All acres come square. And so the distance between that corner of that acre and the other corner is going to so 4, 3, 5, 6. Now I got to do math here. Yeah, the whiteboard would be helpful. Thank you. So it is, regardless of numbers, you have a common square, and that is your lot that you're subdividing. That's going to have more than 30 lots on it in final plat. It would be the half of the distance.
So the property is the whole subdivision in question?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'll turn this around for those in the audience. So you're going to have 35 lots in here. So you're going to have maybe 1 access here to get in. The other access needs to be at least this far away, if that makes sense as a measuring point. So it could either be over here, but it's not allowed to be right next to the other access.
Okay.
You can draw that out for you guys. So this outside square is the original lot. This is their ideal access point. This would not be allowed because the distance needs to be from the middle of the length of that lot. So this one would not be allowed and this one would not be allowed. They would have to show that their access is somewhere on a different portion to allow. The update for whiteboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question? Okay.
Way to answer a question on the fly.
It's all geometry and planning, I swear.
All right. Any other questions?
I just
Yes.
want to agree with Karen. This is going to be one where the developer is going to come in and say, what? Right here? And so maybe a diagram as part of the,
Oh, yeah,
Same.
we could put a graphic in there.
yeah.
That's a good suggestion.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from the Planning Commission to staff? Okay. Do we have any members of the public that would like to speak on this? Yes, you can go ahead and come up. And if you haven't signed the paper, just sign the paper. Oh, okay. Okay.
My name is Randall Brooks. My name is Randall Brooks and I live in Heritage Highlands. And my question is a relatively simple one that I should probably know the answer to. But I'm wondering if this is retroactive. If I live at Heritage Highlands and we only have one access point in and out of the grounds. And so I was wondering, so would that be retroactive to before this commission meets and affects the developers?
I don't believe that it would be retroactive, but I'm going to defer to
Well,
Lindsay.
I don't normally respond during public
Oh, okay.
hearings, but as a Sequim, I will at this one time. We cannot go back to established neighborhoods and require that. It's for new development at this time.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody else that would like to provide public comment? Okay, and Emily, do we have anybody online?
No one online.
Okay. Then at this time, I will close the public hearing. Thank you for providing public comment. Is there any Planning Commission discussion on this? Because this one, I believe we will be sending to the City Council tonight, if there's no further. Okay. So are we ready for a motion to send this to the City Council? Yeah.
Prior to someone writing that or making that motion, I did hear, and I do like the idea from Commissioner Hewitt on adding a graphic to help explain an example the measurements.
Okay.
And so if that could be included into the recommendation, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. Does everybody agree with that? I think graphic is good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Would anybody like to move to send this to the City Council with the change of putting a graphic in?
I make a motion, we move to send the changes as discussed with the graphic on chapter 17.32.110, 2 points of access forward for a public hearing with the council.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. And Emily, if we could get a roll call vote on this?
Absolutely. Commissioner Malik,
Yes.
Commissioner Hewitt,
Yes.
Commissioner LaFever, Commissioner Kuntz,
Yes.
Commissioner Fain,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So moving forward. Going all the way back up to my agenda, but I believe at this time we are ready for the director's report.
Okay, thank you. So a couple of things on the 2025 Major Comprehensive Plan update. If you guys get a chance to come to the farmers market this weekend, myself and our newest senior planner, Travis Simmons, will be at the farmers market garnering input, educating the citizens about the website, informing them of how they can begin and stay as a participant through the complete comprehensive plan process. There will be on your August 20th agenda an item to discuss some of the scenarios, go through the feedback we've heard to date, and go through some of the stuff that we had in our studios that we had back in June and some of the feedback there. So we'll get a primer and an introduction to the comprehensive plan and the feedback that we've had. And then we will begin going into deep dives on the elements starting, I believe, in October, November. September, the comprehensive plan, one of the grants that the city received does require a focus group for middle housing, which is 80 to 120% of the area median income. The Planning Commission on their September, I believe it's September 17th, we'll be doing some open house work for the comprehensive plan, and we will be having a meeting. During your meeting, we will be doing some comprehensive planning work and inviting the public. So the season is here. I know you've heard a lot of talk about it, but we're starting to get into it and roll our sleeves up. So I'm very excited about this and the fall and winter and the work that we will be doing. So yeah, if you're at the farmers market on Saturday, stop by, say hi, fill out a penny poll, and or listen to what we're hearing.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Is that all day at the farmer's market, Lindsay?
The department will be there from 8 to 2, correct?
Outside?
Outside in a booth.
Okay.
Hopefully
Thank you.
with the sun and not an umbrella.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or comments for Lindsay on this? Nope. Okay, I'm excited.
Thank you. I will put a little shadow too under here. I kind of let you know in the last one, but we have hired our senior planner. We have promoted internally Travis Simmons to the senior planner role. You will start to see him more and more presenting with planning commission items, code amendments, and some language as he is growing into the position and doing the very important work for the city. So we're very excited about that. There is currently an advertisement out for our assistant and associate position, which is open, and that I believe has another few days left on that application period, but we have seen a good amount of applicants come in. So very excited to have the department fully staffed and ready to take on a lot of this large work.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Okay, do we have, let's see, so that's it for the director's report. Thank you, Lindsay.
I do want to mention, you may have noticed that you got chinsed on meals. With the meetings, I am doing my best to determine if we are going to have a long meeting or a succinct meeting, and directing Emily in that direction on where to go with meals. So there may be less meetings with substance if we assume that we'll be able to get you home by a 7 p.m. dinner time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, all right. Anything else for the director's report?
I ate at 8.
Okay, so go to the order. Does anybody have anything, any of the commissioners have anything for good of the order? Yes.
Just a quick note that I'll be absent on the 20th. Unfortunately, it sounds like it's going to be a fun meeting with the kickoff on the comp plan, continuation of the comp plan. But anyways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Well, Vicki made it just in time. Okay, so then would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, meeting is adjourned at 6:07 PM. Thank you.